college campuses?
I think the most successful tool for most candidates would probably be Facebook, like the social media stuff. I know I spend a lot of my day on Facebook wasting my time. But I think it's a really effective way.
Wasting my time.
I think it's a very effective way for a candidate, to reach these pool of voters. The candidates know where the voters are, and it's just a matter of exciting them.
Congressman, do you tweet? Do you Facebook?
Absolutely use Facebook. I hope your viewers are checking me out and like me and join my group. But your guests are exactly right. Social media, the problem for a lot of older candidates running for office is they're not tech savvy. And the fact of the matter is, young people don't get their information from the daily newspaper anymore. Young people get their information online. They get it through Facebook and Twitter. And so if you're a candidate not communicating through those means, the young people aren't hearing you. And so part of the struggle on Democrat and Republican parties has been getting the candidates to communicate to young people using the methods they use to get their information.
Yeah, and Chris, not to say that you're not concerned about what's going on in the world, and you certainly have expressed that all the people you talk to are worried about when they graduate getting a job. It's kind of unrealistic for them to think that suddenly 18, 19, even 22-year-olds are going to start reading a daily newspaper, start sitting down at 6:30 at night and listening to what's going on.
Exactly, and that's the benefit of Facebook and Twitter. It really gets the information out to us in a really succinct manner. Like college students are really busy, so we want to know the facts really quickly. And Facebook and Twitter are the best ways.
Do your organizations on campus have Facebook pages?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. All do. And you tweet all the time?
Yeah. That's the most successful way for us to get people to our events.
Well, Democrat, Republican, it would be great if we could get a lot more people energized to get out to vote. There's a lot more opportunities now, early voting, mail voting, so let's hope it all happens. Thanks to all of you. I was kidding before, but it's true, they got up very early to come here and be with us, so thank you for doing that. And Congressman, we appreciate you sticking around as well. Thanks so much.
Chris, good to be with you.
Around 5 years ago, you remember this guy, Harry Whittington? He was a household name. Today, the name's a little tougher to place. Need a hint? He is the older gentleman who was shot in the face by then Vice President Dick Cheney. Well, Harry Whittington is now 82. Sometimes when people get a little older, they just say what they think. Well, he's telling his story to the Washington Post. I want to bring in Paul Fowry, who interviewed Harry Whittington for the Washington Post. And Paul, he's telling a pretty different story than most of what we heard back then. Give us the highlights.
Well, a little bit different, Chris. He experienced quite a bit of trauma. He was in the hospital in the intensive care ward for a week. His injuries were quite extensive. He suffered what appeared to be a mild heart attack, which we knew about, but there were other injuries as well. He had a collapsed lung. That was not reported at the time. He had dozens and dozens of skin wounds. He has still about 30 lead birdshot pellets still in his body that no one can touch, too dangerous to touch, or they didn't bother with. So he did have quite a bad experience.
And the former vice president didn't talk about the issue until 4 days later. Just to remind people, let me play for them what he said.
Ultimately, I'm the guy who pulled the trigger, that fired the round that hit Harry. And you can talk about all of the other conditions that existed at the time.
There also were reports that they were old friends, and I'm wondering how accurate that is, and did he apologize?
Well, first of all, they weren't exactly old friends. They had met on 3 occasions. Mr. Whittington was a prominent figure in the Republican Party in Texas. They had met about 3 times, as I said, over about 30 years. They didn't really know each other. They were kind of acquainted. So the reports that they were friends and buddies was not accurate. As to the apology, that's kind of interesting. Dick Cheney did take responsibility for the shooting, but he never apologized in public, and as far as I can tell, has never apologized personally to Mr. Whittington.
That's an interesting article. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Was it a case of mistaken identity that led to the alleged pirate attack on the American couple on a Mexican lake? New details straight ahead.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women have certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, freedom to believe that while history has gotten us this far, our best days are still ahead.
Want to walk out of here? You go through me.
Critics rave. Stone is a psychological tour de force.
Met with him in person.
Stone is white. Can I persuade you?
De Niro and Norton's performances are dead on.
See Bolton economy?
It's a game.
Stone, rated R, now playing.
Moose Temptations by Jell-O. Decadently delicious, 60 calories. It's finally meat o'clock. Time for Jell-O. Try new chocolate mint sensation.
2 years ago, you defied the conventional wisdom in Washington. You proved that the power of everyday people was stronger than the forces of the status quo. On November 2nd, we face another test. If the other side does win, they will spend the next 2 years fighting for the very same policies that led to this recession in the first place. We cannot sit this one out.
The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When I brush, I like to do a really mediocre job.
I love running my tongue across my teeth and feeling all the stuff I missed.
No one really wants plaque left on their teeth.
Done.
But ordinary manual brushes can leave up to 50% of plaque behind. Oral-B Power brushes are inspired by the tools professionals use to clean away plaque in ways a manual brush can't. For that dentist smooth clean feeling every day. Fight plaque with real power. Oral-B Power. Get 50% off Oral-B Power brushes for a limited time. Visit oralb.com for details.
Last year, the U.S. alone used over 39 billion plastic bottles of water. That's enough to stretch around the Earth over 190 times. Each Brita filter can take up to 300 of those bottles out of the equation. It's a small step that can make a big difference. Look for our coupon in this weekend's newspaper.
At Liberty Mutual, we know how much you count on your car. And how much the people in your life count on you. That's why we offer accident forgiveness. Where your price won't increase due to your first accident. We also offer a new car replacement. Where if you total your new car within the first year, we give you the money to buy a new one. These are just 2 reasons why Liberty Mutual customers know we're a company they can count on, and why 9 out of 10 of our customers would recommend us to a friend. At Liberty Mutual, we help you move on with your life. So switch today and get the auto insurance responsible drivers like you deserve.
Really good.
Call us at 1-888-528-3166 or visit your local Liberty Mutual office where an agent can help you find the policy that's right for you. Liberty Mutual Auto Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Don't Ask, Don't Tell, personified. Last night on the Rachel Maddow Show, Rachel had exclusive interviews with 2 gay members of the U.S. military who are living under the current policy. Now, even though this policy has been ruled unconstitutional by a federal judge and President Obama says he wants it repealed, it is in effect. Here's an excerpt from one of the interviews, the unidentified vet talking about an issue his partner had during his deployment.
I was going integrated with an Army unit at the time into Fallujah, Iraq, and it was a Wild West, and I had no idea what to expect. So I knew it was going to be dangerous, and I didn't know how he would be taken care of if something happened to me, God forbid. But one thing that did happen, with his medical issues, and fortunately I didn't find out until after I got back, but he was on the table and had to be basically paddled back to life.
Wow.
His heart had stopped. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that.
You found out about it once you got home?
Once I got home. If that had been someone's spouse, they would have flown home immediately to be with them. There's nothing I could do. If he died, I'd have to finish out my tour, or risk getting kicked out of something that I've always wanted to do, something I've always loved doing, defending the country, defending the people of this country. And you can watch the Rachel Maddow Show here on MSNBC, 9 p.m. weeknights.
There's a new theory in that alleged pirate attack on a Texas border lake. David Hartley's wife says he was shot to death 2 weeks ago while jet skiing. Now, a global intelligence company, Stratfor, says David's death may have been a case of mistaken identity, that he was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time in a war between rival Mexican drug gangs. Former FBI profiler Clint Van Zandt joins us now. And Clint, based on what we know about this case, and originally a lot of it just didn't ring true, but do you think that this is a plausible explanation that maybe he just was incredibly unlucky, wrong place, wrong time?
Well, you know, number one, whoever shot him, should they be these Mexican druggies, these are not the brightest bulbs on the terrorism Christmas tree anyway. They were out there. If the victim and his wife were taking pictures, they could have been mistaken. But Chris, this could also be individuals involved in one drug cartel who just drew a line in the water, so to speak, on that lake, sending a message. This is our lake. We're in charge. You come over here and you're going to get killed. I mean, that's the type of brazen activity that also brought about the death, or the decapitation of the lead investigator. And Chris, so far this year, over 50 Americans have been murdered in Mexico.